Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, mic's working good. Gotta turn the volume down or I get that reverb. This is the streaming experience I've kind of wanted. Things work. I I I launch it. There's a couple second delay between the stream and my tablet. It launches right away. I don't have to fuck with the controls to get it working too terribly much. Okay, the song for tonight, and this is the kind of the cool thing. I do this right at the beginning. There just usually isn't anybody on. Um, but every time I've streamed, my CPU is around 20% on this, sometimes 25, 30, and I'm hitting like a fairly solid 30 frames per second. And even in the rare cases where it dips, the stream still looks okay. Okay, so this one here is going to go back to the 80s. Might be late 80s, early 90s. The band is from the 80s. It's a band I mean, they've got some depressing shit. I didn't realize until I was I was in my 30s, pretty well in my 30s. And I went back, I was listening to some of the stuff I used to crush in high school, and it was just some depressing shit. I mean, it really was. Just no way to get around it. And but I still like them. I'm just, I guess I was more of a moody shit growing up than I realized at the time. But this one here is Depeche Mode, "Shake the Disease." I'm not gonna do. Gonna try not to do the same band back to back from stream to stream. I'm gonna try and space them out. And then if it's a band I really like with Depeche Mode, because there were a few bands growing up where I could listen to the whole album. Depeche Mode was one, at least their earlier stuff. That I could put on the whole album. I liked every song on it. The Police was another one. Some of their earlier stuff I could put on that whole album. ABBA was usually another one. That was one of my sisters. That was more from the '70s, but that was another one that I really liked. And so I will try and I will have a little bit of a, because some of the stuff that I picked up from my sister and my brother, I'll be showcasing that in here. And then the other thing, I don't know if they're going to grace us with their presence, but I let everybody know on the server Discord that anybody from the server that jumped in, if they went into Discord and joined server chat, they could actually talk during the stream. Down the road, I'm going to probably have to do it by invite only. I'll put certain people in there, like the ones that are regulars on the server, because that's the only one I have control over. I don't really have control over I don't have control over the server Discord, but I do over my own Discord, which is kind of the back end, the speakeasy. Anybody interested in Ace of Spades can join it. Once we get going, we'll flash that up in the chat. And I try to put links to that when I upload this stuff to YouTube. And I'm not entirely sure where to find it, but to the best of my knowledge, I have put that information into Twitch. So if you go to my page on Twitch, it should be links to it in there. And then you can join us on the back end. And then if you become an official server member, you get invited to the server only. Yeah, let's get this out of the way before too many people get on here. Right now, I think it's just me. But yeah, we're doing "Shake the Disease" by Depeche Mode. They have a lot of they have a lot of their songs, and these are the ones I usually like listening to the most. They have a lot of songs that are um, they're basically about unusual romance, bad romance, that kind of thing. And you know, there's just a certain part that resonates with I think most of their fans. Not going down on my knees, begging you to adore me. Can't you see it's misery and torture for me? When I misunderstood, try as hard as you can. I tried as hard as I could to make you see how important it is for me. Here is a plea from my heart to yours. Nobody knows me. What to do? You know how hard it is for me to shake the disease that takes hold of my tongue in situations like these. I breathed wrong. Understand me. Understand me. Some people have to be permanently together. Lovers devoted to each other forever. Now I got things to do. And I said before that I know you have to when I'm not there. In spirit, I'll be there. Here's a plea from my heart to you. Nobody knows me as well as you do. No, I know how hard it is for me to shake the disease. Takes all of my heart in this situation. It's putting the lyrics up slightly after I should be singing them. That's my bad. I actually like this song. There's a plea from my heart to you. Nobody knows me as well as you do. You know how hard it is for me to shake the disease that takes hold of my tongue in situations like these. Okay, let's go ahead and get this party started. Yeah, I like that. How it just immediately clicks over to this. The overlay comes up pretty quick. Every way that this thing is measurable, it is doing better on this computer. Okay, nobody's here right now, but for the and I got to work on getting some keyboard shortcuts to fire this stuff up. But for the people watching this on YouTube, so we can get the In MCPE, should cats, dolphins, baby pigs, and cows drop meat? Um, the cats and the dolphins, I gotta say, it's gonna be the controversial part. The baby pigs, in my opinion, should drop bacon, and the baby cows should have at least, maybe not every one, but they should have a chance of dropping bacon and veal. But I gotta be completely honest with you, and I'm older. I know it's politically incorrect, and I put this up as a suggestion. Now, granted, I did it on 4th of July, but or April Fool's Day a couple of years ago. But I put in a suggestion to let cats drop meat. This might have been before the dolphins were on there, but I put in a suggestion to let cats drop meat, and that you could use meat to make, cat meat to make Chinese food. And they actually deleted that suggestion off the page. I didn't get a reprimand. They didn't whack me on the pee or anything for it, but it's like that did get that did get dropped from the suggestion site. Just a little bit of maintenance now that I'm here. I'm not entirely sure the best way to do it, but I keep getting the slime here, and at least so far they haven't been killing the golems, because those golems should be safe. But occasionally, these things disappear, and I have to replace them. Yeah, we're good. Drop that in. Now, every now and then I get junk from here that doesn't belong in the filter, but for the most part, this sends everything over to the furnace, and it smelts down. It smelts down the gold and the iron armor and the tools, because I get swords and stuff dropped in. And then I think it's got to do. I haven't figured out a better way to do it. It's just really not that important, right? But I know, like going by Silent Whisper, when he makes the sorting systems, uh, he'll talk about how the reason why he has redesigned it is because using repeaters, there's a timing issue. They don't respond as fast as they should, and I think that's what the problem is. Because what happens is, using it the way I do, I go in here and I pick out all this shit. And while I was AFK, I always like to AFK or just shut the game off a couple hours before stream, because I can get lightheaded playing these games. Whatever as far as I can tell, I was exposed to stuff when I was working for General Motors for being a whistleblower. There were people in the union for sure, and I think management that, although I don't, management might have been aware, but the only way I can figure I was drugged is if somebody from the union did it, because I don't think the management people would have taken the risk of trying to spike my food or my drink while they were, because they would have been noticed way too easy. It would have been a lot easier for someone in the union, but there were people in there. I mean, I was hearing stories that, there were people that were getting overtime and other perks at work because they had friends in law enforcement down in Indiana that were getting management people out of drunk driving tickets and shit like that. And like at my old plant here in the Midwest, before I had to leave it and it closed down, there was the stories that were going around that there were people in management that were fucking coke monkeys. I mean, they were on coke, and because one of my friends, actually, someone I've known since high school, he was telling me, he goes, well, yeah, he goes, I went to this after party. It was after work, and he goes, because of his situation, if things at GM didn't work out, he always wanted the option to go back to what he used to do, and getting busted anywhere near a cocaine party would have really fucked that up. But he went. He'd gone multiple times, and he said something to me about it. Because yeah, I was there last. But yeah, I keep meaning to stop by. He goes, you might not want to. And I go, why? And he goes, well, I went. There was somebody there that needed a ride home. He dropped him off, and then he went back. And it was later. Most of the people had left, and the coke was already out. He walked in on it, and then they're all like, and he goes, you'd have been surprised at some of the people there. And I go, I know them. And he goes, yeah. and apparently there were people in management down, and then like one girl I worked with down there in Indiana when I was on third shift, she was talking about, now this guy was pretty high up in management. She always referred to him as the cocaine cowboy. And I don't know if there was something to it or if it was just a nickname, but you never know. I mean, you just really never know. And but yeah, so some of the shit that was going on, I don't, I can tell you what the rumors were, and there were things going on between management and certain workers down there. It really seems credible. At least to me, it really seemed credible. You guess you'd had to be there, um, but it really seemed credible to me that that kind of shit was going on. But yeah, it kind of ruined my health. And there's times where I'm sitting here and I'm not up moving around, and I still get lightheaded playing these games. So for the sake of the stream, I always try to take a pause before the stream, kind of recuperate. And the weird thing that's been going on with health right now is, I want to say for at least the last 2, 3, maybe 4 days, I really haven't felt bad. I mean, when I'm feeling okay, I'm functioning decent, but I just basically keep falling asleep. And then when I wake up, I feel good again, and then all of a sudden, it's like your battery gets wound down, and I'm getting way more sleep than I should. Like I fell asleep relatively early last night, and so I woke up at 7, got up, took a piss, and then when I got done and I came back upstairs because I planned on going to the grocery store, and when I came back upstairs, I got real lightheaded and I ended up dropping off. And ooh, but I ended up dropping off while I was, I fell asleep. Well, then I basically slept most of the day. I'd wake up for a little bit, turn the TV back on, and usually before one episode or whatever I was watching would play out, I'd fall back asleep again, and that went on until about, oh man, I think 3 o'clock is when I finally got up and I actually felt okay. And it's been like that for a couple of days, really. And but I've actually felt worse. As shitty as this is to say, this is like, I because when I finally wake up from a nap, I can function for a few hours. And the other day, I think it was Saturday. Uh, yeah, I think it would have been Saturday's stream. I felt okay, but by the time the stream came around, I was fighting to stay awake. I was absolutely fighting to stay awake for that. I don't know what it sounds like to you guys. I really don't. But I've got a voice modulator. I just for grins, I looked up voice, like an auto tune, for because I wanted something to make my singing sound a little less horrible, and it's Grillion or something like that. I think it's Grillion 2. It's absolutely free. You don't get all the features for free, but I'll take what I get. And so if my voice sounds a little funky, that's what it is. I'm playing around with the settings on that. I watched a YouTube video where they tell you how to set it up, and I'd say there's a third of the settings that don't work unless you pay for the full version, and there's about a third of the ones that they actually walk you through and they explain to you what they do and how to use it. And then there's about a third of them that they don't even talk about. And so I'm like, yeah, they don't know what those do. And so I haven't touched any of them yet. I'm playing around with the ones that I'll listen to it later and see what it sounds like. But I'm like tweaking the settings like every stream or so until I get what I like. And then it's absolutely got the ability. Yeah, here we are. We've been streaming for 20 minutes, and it finally put the alert up on Discord. Good job. this is why I, you know, if you're interested in making these and you want to make them on time, and that might be because I'm the same way. Like if I can't make a live stream on time, I usually watch it later. So if you're someone that actually wants to catch these live and you're watching it on YouTube, go to let's see, go to Twitter and follow me there because with rare exceptions, I screw up on occasion, but with rare exceptions, what I end up doing is I post ahead of time when I'm going live. And I got some work on here. I need to basically finish that tree. Right now, the ziggurat build is the big one that I'm working. Before I leave, though, I usually wait until the leaves drop, but I need to basically put in the saplings because I've been. I'm trying to think here. I have to cut down a fair amount. Okay, dirty little dirty little Enderman took my dirt block. But I have to cut these trees down. What I end up doing is I end up using them. Oh, I planted these on the wrong side. But I have to cut these trees down because I actually need a fair amount of wood for hoppers and chests for the storage system. I think I planted these. I planted them on the wrong side. Okay, I'll fix it later. Screw it. Um, they'll be planted here for this one. This way, like somebody basically told me, they go, the way you build, show everything because people won't believe you do it. So I try to at least include the some of the grunt work I do, so you know that I'm actually doing this honestly in survival. I'm not one of the Hermitcraft guys were talking about this. There was somebody they invited to the server, and I think the last time I tried this, it was on a substandard. It was on the substandard computer, and it was just really crap. And I've got a piston feed tape furnace thing here, and one of these, one or two furnaces disappeared. I actually had to replace a furnace that glitched out. I don't know when it did. It was still working. It just probably wasn't working nearly as efficiently as what it was or what it should be. And then, like on here, I don't think I showed this on a good stream. I've actually gone through and started to decorate this a little bit on both of these because these are mostly done. They're not completely all the way to the top. I added a couple more rows of lights here and I filled it in with the honey blocks for decoration. And I think I've done, since the last time I put this up on a stream, and again, it was I was like just crappy frames per second and some of the other stuff. But I've added a little bit more here, and as soon as I get this filled out all the way, then I'll start putting the lights on it and the honey blocks, and I'll get this one lit up. But right now, I've got room for expansion that I probably don't need. This is where I was doing the mob heads, and out to here, I don't have this actually filtering any mob heads, so I've got room for more stuff if I ever want to put it in there. Oh, and I forgot. I got to get a hold of the one guy. He was watching my. I'll shoot him a message when I get done with the stream tonight. But there was a guy that jumped in. he jumped in on my MC Dungeons, and I forgot about it. That's my bad. But I'll shoot him a message tonight and let him know that if I'm able to, I will be streaming MC Dungeons tomorrow around the same time I did last time. And if he's able to jump in, I can just shoot him an invite when he shows up.
Press D to return, or controller D-pad right to open chat.
But yeah, this is like this is what I mean. I don't think since I left Twitch on the Xbox, I don't think I've had good frame rates like this on any of the computer. I mean, the first computer I was using, the frame rates were actually better, but like half the stuff that was supposed to work on OBS did not work. So it was a hot mess that way. But for me to have these that's how I feel having these full frame rates. It really, really, really feels good. Now, Biker tweeted that he would be here, and here I am about 30 minutes into the stream, and this is the part that annoys me. If they can't make it, they can't make it. But I purposely have a set schedule. I let them know what it's going to be. So if and for those of them that they have set schedules, I make an effort. I make an effort irregardless. But if I don't know when they're going to be on, and they go live when I'm nowhere near the computer, I had to choose between a phone and the internet, and basically I can't afford anything right now, so that I could, I knew I could get the internet provided. That's kind of for everybody, and so I had to give up the phone because of my situation. Okay, I got most of this done. I'm gonna just because I'm in the mood. I'm not entirely sure. I got a rough idea. I drop one glass down and then I try to move the other and it ends up setting. I think one of my keys is starting to go, one of my buttons on the control. But I drop one and then I go to put the others back and ends up leaving half the remaining stack where I just wanted one. But I've got 3 of the beacons set up, and then if you've ever seen Stargate SG-1, where you have those gold motherships that land on a pyramid, it's kind of what I'm going for here. I'm gonna build a flying pyramid, and it's gonna look hopefully like it's hopefully gonna look like the beacons are holding it up. That's the intent. By the time I get done, I'm gonna have about a half. Cause I've gotten a little bit of iron from a couple of the other ones digging a lot. I'm gonna end up with about a half stack of iron here. And I gotta say, it's been kind of cool on the server because a lot of the people who were kind of inactive are starting to come back a little bit. Pixel Pizza's been on the screen a little bit. Crow is trying to come back. The thing with Crow is she's even, I think it's a girl. I might be wrong, but I think it's a girl. Uh, I'm just gonna call them Crow. I'm actually not. I don't really care. They're Minecraft, but I'm probably too young anyway. But I'm really not trying to think of them as a gender. I'm trying to think of them as Minecraft players. I'm never gonna. The likelihood I'm gonna end up rubbing elbows with pretty slim. They're on the internet. Um, so really, I mean, it doesn't even get into the. They're just someone to play. They're decent people. They're fun to play with. That's all that really matters for me. And but Pro has kind of commented that they uh, they get bored playing this, and I get that. Bullet was the same way. Bullet was really good at doing certain things, but when it came to actually putting in the time, he admitted it. And it's there. There's no shame in admitting the truth. You know, they get bored when it comes to doing big builds, but for him to just bang out a farm, something like that, he's really good at that. But when it comes taking the time to do some of this shit, like what I'm doing, he gets bored. Now, pizza, the thing is, I think he'd be really good at, but if he's getting bored, he's getting bored. There's only so much you can do about that. And but pizza, I haven't really seen it lately. Yeah, the other one I did on this end too, I ran into this too, where there's like a cave underneath there. I don't know if I'm going to get time. If I have time, I'm eventually going to dig a tunnel out, and I'm probably going to have a master. So what I originally wanted to do, and I'm going to put it into the pyramid up in the sky. I was going to put in piston feed tape so it would change the color of the beacon by moving glass around it. I'm going to do that after it hits the spaceship. So these will have the yellow ones pushing it up, and then it'll cycle through up there. Now, the one thing I don't know is with OBS, once you get these filters set up, like I got the filters for my mic set up, and then when I added OBS to this, and I added the same filters, so their mic should sound halfway decent too. If whatever I've done to my mic, it should be doing it to theirs, and hopefully that'll make it sound good. But what'll happen is I'm wondering if I can change the filters for the Discord without changing my personal, because it's the same filter, but since it's on a different audio source, I'm thinking they can be different. I'll have to find out if it changes it on one, if it changes it on both. If that's the case, I will just recreate the filters separately. Yeah, this will be basically the thing to remember is when you're building a beacon, do like what I did. If you're having trouble with it, what you want to do is you want to build 4 iron blocks. If you want to make a max beacon, You want to build 4 iron blocks underneath the beacon. And then what you do is you start out with the top layer is 3, the next one is 5, the next one is 7, and then the one after that would be 9. And so, like, that's my center one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another 4 on this side makes 9. So there's our full beacon. And then if you want to make a multi-beacon, like if you want to build one of these stacks that will handle more than one beacon, all you got to do is for every beacon you want to add, um, like if I want to add 2 beacons, all I got to do is just add 1 row on one side of the beacon and then put a beacon on top. So you have, instead of a 3x3 on the top, you would have a 6 by or a 4x3, and then you would just extend it. You'd have uh, a 6x5, and then you'd have an 8x7, and then you'd have a 10x9. And it's all, you just start at the top and you just sort of expand it, telescope it out a little bit, and you pretty much have a done deal. I never change. I'll have to do it later. I never changed the stream. I forgot to do that. I know there's a way to do it. I know there's a way to do it otherwise, and I'm just not going to mess with it. But yeah, I forgot. That's the one thing I did forget. And I should have brought a piece of emerald with me so I could activate it right now. I'm going to eventually dig these out, I think. That's cool that I got all 4 beacons. This is what I got to be honest with you. Um, an iron farm is almost something I will always build on a server. I don't care if anybody else uses it or not. It's not about that, but you know, because this is the thing. Like we're trying to run this economy on the server. We've got shops. It's a semi-serious thing, and my stream stalled out on my tablet, and hopefully it didn't stall out for you. But yeah, I still only got one viewer, and well, eventually, if I get time, I'll dig this out. But just in case I don't have time, it's a done. I apparently I watched some of these on YouTube. I didn't realize it. I was watching like ghost stuff, and I'm watching Paranormal Witness. It's either on Peacock for free or it's on. I think it's on Peacock, but it's either on Roku or Peacock. You can watch it for free, and I'm not even through the first season, so maybe it'll change. But I remember Eddie Murphy back. it was one of his earlier stand-ups, and he was talking about how The Exorcist would never happen with black. Like horror movies in general. Just that this shit would never happen with black people. And I'm watching this, and it just dawned on me that he might have been right because I just don't want mobs spawning in here and screwing anything up. If I ever do get around to digging this out, I will light it up. I will clear this out. Right now, I just need the beacon to work. I don't think I did those on. That's okay. Yeah, I did. I covered up the. But the thing I noticed watching is everybody that they were portraying was white. There were no black people reporting this shit, and it went back to Eddie Murphy. He was sitting there. He goes, "Well, yeah, I'm watching the Poltergeist. This is like from the '80s. You might have to ask your grandparents about this." But it was probably based on actual events. And what happened was this little girl got sucked into the TV. Oh, I got to come back. I forgot to bring. I never turned it on. I got to come back with a piece of emerald and dig it back out a little bit so I can turn it on. But little girl got sucked into the TV, and if they had it on the right channel, they could still talk to her. And it apparently was inspired by actual. Oh, Sammy Joe. I'm not sure. Sammy Joe is live on TikTok. Hey, if I wasn't streaming right now, I would probably stop in to see if you were wearing a really hot outfit. But they were all like white people. And it just dawned on me, like Eddie Murphy was right. White people are the only one dumb enough to stick around for this shit. Because he said, yeah, he goes, Poltergeist would not have happened to a black family. He goes, we went in there, we went in, we'd go into this house and we'd be like, oh, baby, this house is beautiful. We got the yard outside, the kids are playing, this is beautiful. And he goes, and then that fucking witchy voice kicks in. Get out. And he's like, too bad we can't stay, baby, because I'd be down at the police station and they'd be like, let me get this straight, Mr. Murphy. You said your daughter is in the TV set? Yeah, she's in the TV set. You can have all that shit. We're not going back. And they're like, well, didn't you try to save your daughter? He goes, yeah, I'm a man. I changed the channel. The shit didn't work. I got the fuck out. And yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that's what I'm so far. Every one of these I've watched, it's like white people. It's like fucking white people. And the ones I find okay, you got the UFO ones, because it's all paranormal. It's not ghost investigates. It's not ghost witness. It's paranormal. The UFO ones I find fascinating, especially when it's involving like police. Um, when this was oh shit. I think this would have been before the year 2000. Uh, there was at that time I had to go to another state. My state did not have the Mega Millions. It was one of the big. I mean, it's like a big lottery. My state has it now, but back then they didn't. And so and we're talking like it was a 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive one way, right near the border. And in fact, that some of the people that I knew, uh, they stopped selling liquor at the liquor store at 9 o'clock in the state I'm in. That's when you wanted liquor, you had to buy it before 9. Well, you could drive 25 minutes into the southern state, and they sell it till like midnight. Like midnight, 1 o'clock, you can go down there, and so it was a fairly. That's how I found out about it. It's like I used to go down there and get my lottery. And then, now they sell them. Well, I was driving down there, and you got to understand, this was before the internet was real big, like it is now. You did not have smartphones. So a lot of people, you didn't have satellite radio. None of this shit existed back then. And so I'm listening to like local radio stations, and I think they're still pretty good. I don't know if they play the same kind of music that I used to listen to, but they had really good radio stations. I was listening to one from that state, and they were talking about the police were actually tracking and this is broad daylight, but police were tracking a UFO, not an alien, not necessarily, but an unidentified flying object. And it basically went through at least 3 counties. So you had 3 different counties that were following this thing. And they got to where, if they started talking about it. And then when it went to the next county, they were covering it live. They weren't doing music anymore. They were just basically covering this thing. And those are the ones I find the most fascinating, where it's either like military people or law enforcement, people that have a certain amount of credit. I mean, granted, now if you see the interview and it sounds like Goober from Mayberry, then yeah, I'm trying to get comfortable here. Hang on a second. Got to move around a little bit. But if it sounds like Goober from Mayberry, then yeah, maybe you're not going to give it quite so much credibility. That's entirely possible. Entirely possible that you wouldn't give it that much credibility. But a lot of the times, these people are somewhat credible. But the ghost stories, there are always white people on this show so far. And there was one guy, he was a cop. These are the ones I find a little more fascinating, where real cops were involved. And for all I know, that these things could all be made up. Take it with a grain of salt, but I do find the show fascinating. And just to kill some time when I'm really not feeling good enough to do anything else, hey, what the. But I might. What in the hell? Okay, I thought it was doing the wrong one. Like one of them disappeared, but it's broadcasting what I want it to. But they had this one. This cop moved in with this woman, and if he was, and this is the thing, I find this somewhat credible, because if this guy's a real cop, unless he's retired now, if this guy's a real cop, for him to tell this story could affect his career. It really could, because if they've got somebody running around with a gun who seems like he's off his fucking rockers, that could actually impact his career. I mean, you think about it. You've got some of these female cops that get caught doing like OnlyFans or doing nudes on Instagram or something, their For You page or whatever. They're doing and they've gotten fired for doing that. So if you think you got Joe Blow running around, talking about how he got, his ass probed by an alien, they might fucking give him his walking papers too. I gotta think that if they are so fucking uptight that a hot cop showing her titties is something to disqualify you, then a guy sounding like a fucking lunatic might be a grounds. But maybe what you see in the news would convince you otherwise. I don't know. But yeah, I just found that interesting. But yeah, he moved in with this woman because she, I don't know if she was divorced, widowed, whatever, single, but she needed some help. This way it gave her a little bit of rent money. And he was constantly drawing his gun on ghosts. And it was kind of fascinating. And then he moved out. And he's sitting there, he's going, I really felt bad leaving her there, but I just couldn't do it anymore. And it's like, holy shit. This guy was being completely honest about it. But yeah, he moved out. He couldn't do it. And then her son, and I don't know if it was her daughter-in-law or just his girlfriend, but it was his baby mom. They moved in, And this is so far the only episode I've seen where the real life people were hotter than the actresses. It's like the real life people were the two women, the daughter-in-law and the mom. They were hot enough. It's like, yeah, we can't afford to get anybody better looking, so we'll just get somebody in there. We'll scrape the bottom of the barrel. Because the mom looked like Stifler's mom from American Pie. She really did. I mean, she didn't look that good without her war paint on, but she looked pretty fucking hot. And then the daughter was really hot, and it's like, oh my god. Then you saw the actors, and it's like, wow, man, they didn't even make an effort. But all the other episodes, they've got some hefty girl in there. Like they had this one, she was a 911 operator. That was for the UFO one where they had the police and the UFO, but she was pretty hot, the actress. And I'm not trying to bag on anybody. I'm not trying to promote an unhealthy image. I'm just being honest. The real life 911 operator, she was a little chunky and not that hot. And then they had this, like, 5'11", 5'10", thin, hot redhead. That's who they had playing. And it's like with that one, it's like they didn't even bother. They didn't even bother trying to get someone more. They couldn't even get someone as attractive as them in real life. That was kind of cool. I thought, anyways. But that just kind of flipped me out. It's like, oh wow, man. Um, okay, if I got enough string, I am going to go ahead and make the scaffolding. I'm going to check and see if I got any laying around. I might have some scaffolding. I got 33. I got to be careful. I don't want to accidentally hit. This guy's acting like he's on crack. What it is, there's a zombie up there, but he's acting like he's on crack, and I don't want to hit him even on accident. Yeah, this is the real pisser of it. It's like I'm trying to make it to affiliate. I I I'm not getting too bummed out on it because I really don't expect this to work. But the only thing I need to reach affiliate is an average of 3 viewers. And there were some people that were really trying to help, and I understand they've got a life, whatever they petered out, but they were doing really good helping me out for, and now they're not making it. They can't, they can't, or they're burnt out or whatever. And I need an average of 3 followers for the course of the month. And I think I'm the only one that surfs on the surfer, streams on the server that actually has a set schedule that they try to follow. Bikers get, but everybody else, they just sort of stream when they feel like it. And I've got a set schedule. They could try to make it, just they don't. And I'm just never going to make affiliate because I'm going to stream tonight for myself, and my numbers are going to tank. I was at about 2.3, and I'm going to crush down to probably 2.2, 2.1. I may even drop down to 1 after this. Thing is, though, like right now, I'm kind of hoping, but as I give up, I'm just going to make it my mission to basically go on about the stuff that was going on at GM. Because I actually put one up talking about, and this was like a legitimate thing. You can look it up. We actually had a drug raid at the factory I worked at. Bob and Tom, they made they on their national radio show. They actually did a song about the drug raid, and I will spend a lot more time talking about shit like that because, as far as I can tell, I was basically, my health was ruined, being a whistleblower. And at the very least, I will start talking about that because, if I can actually draw some interest on YouTube or wherever and get some views and clicks for that, I will be more than happy to do that because my health is shot. There's just not, there's not anything I can do about it. And, because I can, like I said, I was talking earlier, the rumor was you had people in management up here that had a coke problem. There might have been some of it down there because, like, one girl I worked with, she always joked around. This guy was like, he was not at the basement level of management. He's retired since. And, but yeah, there's a lot of people that should have probably been fired, if not prosecuted, for some of the stuff that was going on. And GM, at least the local people, I don't think the corporate was down, but the local people, they just seem to want to shuffle them around like Catholic priests and not do anything about it. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a placeholder for right now. I might map it out, and I'm probably going to change the colors later. I think I'm going to make it out of blackstone, or I might use red nether brick. That's another one that I use. I gotta find. I might even go to endstone, the purple stuff, the purple blocks. I just want something that's going to look good, but this will be basically the propulsion system. Oh no, the texture pack I got, it's the if you look, this one here, it's got like hieroglyphics on the beacon light. I don't know if that's like that on all of them, but on the beacon light, it's got the little images that you can watch. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like, I don't think my health is getting any better. I really, and I went from making like 25 bucks an hour to not being able to fucking, beg for attention on here. And it's, as far as I can tell, it's because I was drugged for being a whistleblower. Um, you had people that didn't want to follow the quality policy as long as their girlfriend or whoever, fuck buddy, whatever, could get a better job, something that they weren't qualified to do. You had a committee man, you had he was an alternate, became the committee man later. He was the alternate committee man, and he was letting some young thing run around with his repair stamp bypass key. These are things that if they were known, Europe, because they have to have their ISO certification to sell product in Europe. And that's like a huge violation. You can't let someone else use your. Now, this was always exception. If you were like training somebody and you were responsible for them, then for the training purposes, they could use your key. And because you were training them, but once they were on their own, they had to have their own key, stamp in that. And he was letting her run around apparently. And then what was funny, I didn't know this at the time, but I actually turned in the proof. Like, hey, look, major fucking violation. Well, he made that shit disappear. And then when that thing blew up, Mike Reed, I think his name was, he was in Ohio. And, I'm kind of thinking that if, whatever was going on with him and, women at work was going on, his wife probably wouldn't have been too fucking happy with it. I don't know, but I'm guessing. But he ended up, and this was at a time where they had problems with people getting laid off. And so they had put a hold on transferring around because they didn't want people transferring to a plant if they had people out of work that needed to transfer there to get back to work. So they actually put a hold on it. And he was actually able to transfer at that. He was able to transfer closer to his home in Ohio from Indiana. And then later, when that thing kind of blew up again, and it was kind of revealed that they had done that, he actually had to come back. At least that's what I was told. They go, well, yeah, he's coming back. And, these are people that shouldn't even have a fucking job anymore, let alone be allowed to be union members. These people shouldn't have to have a fucking job. There was one girl, I didn't really know her. I heard about it through the grapevine, but she became a district committee person. And then she was basically also I don't know if she was an alternate or a district, but she was basically helping her buddies get preferential treatment for vacation time, stuff that they didn't really deserve. And then when that came out, see, they did the right thing. They at least took her out of the committee man. She had to go back to the line. But when it was the good old boy network and they were doing the shit they were doing, that just got swept under the rug. That one guy, Ralphie, he supposedly. I'll do another section on it. I'll talk about this for right. But no, the shit that was going on. But again, my health got ruined, and I gotta find out. I don't know if they actually. I keep getting this conflicting shit because I got one letter telling me that I was voluntary quit because my health finally got bad, and that was with. It was like one of my old committee men. He was on third shift. He was at least once. He went to my therapist, and he was in there right before. And I was there regularly, and he was never there. And then just all of a sudden, because usually I was her first appointment of the day, and then he was suddenly there earlier than me. I didn't think too much of it at the time because his dad had just died. But after he met with my therapist, she did like a complete 180 on some of the shit that we had been talking about. She was blaming me for shit, saying it was my fault that I hadn't assimilated yet. And I'm just like, where the fuck did this shit come from? And it had to be because she was mean. And the thing that, my union's the one that set me up with her. I got a hold of my zone guy, Donor. So my union, somebody, I don't know if Donor was involved in this or not. I really don't. But somebody basically set me up so they could basically go in there and fuck with me during my therapy. And part of that deal was, and the girl in question, I got to be honest with you, this is just my opinion, and it might be because I actually liked her, um, but I got a feeling that she didn't have a choice, and would be my guess, because from what I understand of it, now the information I got was wrong, this is wrong, but the information I had, um, she had been married, and I don't know if it was her fault or husband, what, but she got into dope pretty bad. She ended up losing her kidney. She had to get a kidney donation from her dad. And because of the dope and the problems that it caused, she ended up getting fired and got her back in. And, and that's another thing, after what they did to me, it's like, I, even if I could get healthy again, I'm not going to go in there and start over like a fucking new hire. I'm not after what they did. Those people should either be dead or in fucking jail right. And, but I think because of her situation, she basically, because she was a new hire, she should have been in chassis or somewhere else. She should not have been in quality on second shift. There's just no fucking way. She should have. I'm not even sure she had that much seniority before she lost it, but she might have. She might have been one of the 99ers, but I don't think she even had that much seniority. But she basically was like a new hire. She shouldn't have been in chassis. She shouldn't have been anywhere that was really any good based on her seniority. Well, next thing you know, she's plugged into fucking quality. She's in there as an LA. And there were times where she would basically leave me alone, and then I would see this dipshit that was got. I think he got caught. He at least got caught looking at porn on the computers, but there was rumors that it was kitty. Another thing, instead of shit canning him like at my old plant, a friend's dad got accused of it. He didn't even get caught doing it. He just got accused of it because they found it on a computer that he had access to, along with a lot of other people, and they singled him out for the fucking bullshit. And I think that might have been a political thing. The union president we had, he's not a bad guy. I'm not trying to badmouth him, but he had political aspirations, and I think his political aspirations got kiboshed when he got caught cheating on his wife. As soon as he got into, because he started running, he was president of the UAW, and when our plant shut, I think he was doing it before. He started running for offices like an assemblyman or whatever, and but he got caught fucking somebody, another woman. It wasn't his wife. Got caught with his putter on somebody else's green, say, and he. Oh, it's hard to say. Oh, I gotta redo something. I just remembered something. Um. Oh, but I think that might have been a political thing because the guy in question used to be the president, used to be the shop chairman. He had a lot of pull with older people, and it could have been a completely political thing where they flushed him to get rid of his influence. But anyways, he had to go. He didn't even get caught doing it. This piece of shit, he got caught doing it. I mean, got caught red-handed. And not only did he not have to get fired, he got to keep his job. But it was supposed to be where he could just never be a committee man again. Well, that lasted about 5 months. Because this all happened before I got hired in down there. When I got in down there, when I got hired in down there, he was already a committee man. And then when that was over, they made sure he had another job where he could have access to those computers again. And it's like he's going to do it again. He's more than likely going to. And that was okay. But yeah, that's the shit that was going on down there. Because the thing I heard about it from one of the temps, and that was the thing that the shit that I was talking about, where you had somebody running around with a repair stamp and a bypass key that didn't belong to them. These were the temps. These people weren't even, hey, what's up? Yeah, I forgot to change it. I forgot to change it from Saturday. I'm not entirely, I can do it, but it's a pain in the butt. I'll just change it later after it's up there. That's the one thing I forgot to do. It's, hey, what's up, Wiresmith? Um, Yeah, beginning of the stream, I was talking about, well, my health the last couple days have been strange. When I had energy, I felt halfway decent, but for about 3 4 days now, I'll run for a little bit and then I'll drop off. And then after I wake up from a nap, and then like today when I got up, I got lightheaded coming up because I got up to pee at 7, and then when I got back upstairs, I felt I got lightheaded, and I slept off and on all day until 3 o'clock. I'd wake up for a little bit, turn the TV back on. You generally wouldn't even finish an episode of whatever I was watching. I'd fall back asleep again, and I got 4 beacons up around the Ziggy. And basically, if you've ever watched Stargate SG-1, I'm going to build. They would have those gold motherships land on the pyramids. I'm going to have like a pyramid ship that's being floated by the beacons, but there's going to be a ship above this thing just floating on the beacons. And if I can figure out how to do it, I'm actually going to have like the gold death gliders attacking his thing over here. And if I can't figure that out, I'm going to build a giant fucking hockey puck next or a hockey stick next to it. I got to go count this out. I need to build it the same. I might build it bigger, but I want it to start out the same size. This is the thing I learned a long time ago. If you build smaller, you have to build a lot better. Like this here isn't really that fancy, but just because it's so big, it has kind of an air of awesomeness to it that it really doesn't deserve. Oh, I got lottery tickets for tonight. Wish me luck. I think it's for tonight's drawing. I'm not 100% sure. Main reason I'm working on the spaceship above it is the I still haven't figured out what I want to do with the sides of it yet. I don't want to leave them open like this, but I honestly have not figured out what I want to do with them. Yeah, I was doing that today. I'd come over here and start putting in a couple of the beacons. I would dig out around the thing, and then I would go back and hit the farms at the raid area and just basically get work done there because I wanted to build up my iron supply. Yeah, I did this earlier for the YouTube people, but the uh, the cats and the dolphins are just basically there for drama. But like baby pigs and baby cows, I'm thinking should have at least a rare chance of dropping like bacon and veal. Yeah, that's the thing I've been really pondering on this. I am not entirely sure what at all I'm going to do with the sides. I'm I'm trying to figure out where because I want to put at least two or three more port supports on there, and I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with that yet. Got to keep an eye out so that it doesn't spawn some stuff up here. I don't want to go through all this and have creepers blowing up my shit. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I'm gonna join that. Not entirely sure on Java, but I think these beacons are supposed to act, at least on Java, I think they do. They're supposed to act like a light source that should repel, but it's completely dark up here. If that's a thing, they need to get the parity on that fixed. Oh shit, sorry. Gee, I got so used to the raffle on there, I ended up typing the wrong thing in. I'm gonna have to make these things bigger because, well, unless I scrap the idea right now, the plan is to put in a piston feed tape and change the color of the beacon up here. Oh my God, somebody made a TikTok video. Okay, it still does not take away my enjoyment of it to know that it's fake. But what? Because I've seen the other video like a long time ago. But the guy put a video up, and it was Taco Bell before and after, and then and it didn't look like Taco Bell. It did not look nearly greasy enough to be fucking Taco Bell. But the guy was basically saying like, well, here's a Taco Bell bean burrito that I'm gonna feed to my dog. He goes, do you want it? And the dog just about inhaled the thing. And then they go to the old video where this girl has got, it's the same type of dog. It's laying on its side, and she goes, oh, you poor thing, you're all bloated. And then she lifts up his tail and he sprays shit all over her t-shirt. I was dying laughing on that. It's like, oh my God, I know it's fake, I know it ain't real, but it was still funny. I think I'm gonna record a couple videos coming up, so I can focus on the game while I'm playing and then actually cover it. Because there has been some, I think, really, at least for me, really interesting shit that's happened lately, and I would actually like to do a segment on it where, because they may have found some stuff related to Atlantis. Just a whole bunch of shit. It's oh, did you do another one? Because they're some of this stuff is a couple years old, and I just don't follow it as much. But I'm catching up with it on YouTube or Facebook now, or not Facebook, YouTube. But they found a ship, and it's like a copper quartz alloy, and they think it's the it's actually got a name. Like if you were to actually read Plato's accounting of Atlantis, he mentioned this metal. It had a fancy name. It's in Greek, and they said that it literally means unknown origin metal or something like that, or unknown metal. And it was supposedly pretty prominent on Neptune's temple on Atlantis. And they found a ship full of this stuff. It had this quartz zinc alloy, and they said they talked to the metallurgist and the historians, and they're like, we're not finding any evidence of this before or since as an alloy. And they said it couldn't have been, in their opinion, it couldn't have been natural because zinc does not appear naturally in that form. The only way zinc gets to be like that is when it's processed. So I found that really fascinating. And then, one of the cats is using the litter box. I'm about to get dosed up here. And there's been a few other findings, like another one. If I might have the name wrong, but I'll do a whole. I'm going to try and do a whole show on it, but I'll actually record something so I can. It won't be this half-ass shit I'm doing now, where I'm trying to build and focus on the stream. But I'll do one of those. I might not do them all the time, but I'll do them once in a while, like maybe once a week. I'll do one of these, and then I can do like an in-depth discussion on stuff. And the I'm trying to think of the. If I'm not mistaken, it's over near Cambodia. It's like an ancient city, and if I'm not mistaken, it's been dated. It's been dated to like more than 10,000 years ago. This thing was built at a time when we think of human beings as being hunter gatherers. Some of the Atlantis stuff they figure is the same way. And I think it was near Cambodia in that region somewhere. Uh, Angkor Wat, I think, is what it was called. And they thought it was a pretty big city. They found that, and apparently they've used satellite to kind of look over the area. And that Angkor Wat, if I've got the name right, that is more likely a temple in the city. And they figure this city that they've dated Angkor Wat, and they think it's like over 10,000 years old. This city was like the size of London, and might have been more advanced than anything we saw like in Rome or whatever. And then there was another one that I saw that was discovered recently. And this thing again was a very, very old city. And I can't remember this one I just found out about, so I'm not as familiar with the names and everything to remember them. But this one here not only had running water to most of the city, and they think the guy who found it, he named it after. Trying to think of the guy. It's the guy in. It's the guy in mythology that had the Minotaur. I can't think of that guy's name, but that king that protected his thing with the Minotaur, then or whatever. He. But they found running water to the buildings, and at least for the palace, like there was plenty of water flowing through the city, and it was all done through pipes. And then at least the palace, what they figured was this guy's palace, it had like working toilet system. They had water coming out of it, water coming out of the city. It was like a sewage line. And they had to dig down, I think, like 30, 40 feet to find it. It was pretty much it was they found it, and the thing they found is they had engineers look at it, is the plumbing that was coming out of it was designed in a way that as the water flowed through it, it created like a suction on the pipes, so it would suck the bad odors with it, so it wouldn't go back up into the city. Instead of having like the water traps like we did, they actually, and they said that was extremely advanced architecture for back then. Oh, it's not letting me join the. Maybe I did too much. Yeah, 2,000 I guess is too much. Okay, here's the propulsion for the ship. Oh, I didn't bring a horse now. I think you got the gold shop restocked. I might go and buy some gold from you and hit the
Press key to return
and
or
trade with
controller.
some of my piglins. I wish it would tell you what this stuff was without having to like over here. I should probably use black wool, but I gave, and I'm not looking for anything back on it, but
Press key to return or controller D-pad
I
right
gave you all
or
that black wool, and then I loaded it up with shears, and then I went back and looked. I gotta put a lightning shield up in the air above where those sheep are because the lightning took out like half my sheep. I only had like four of them set up, but lightning took them out, or something did because they're gone. I wish you could set fires on the underside. Like you could, you know, put something in the air, hit it from below, and have the fire come out of that. And you could actually use it for like take propulsion on stuff. Or like a side, you could put into the wall and have flames coming out of the wall. I'm afraid to ask them to add anything because it seems like every new feature they add just fucks up something important on the game. Yeah, I apologize. This is the big bonus for like pre-recording these. Although it's nice to know that I can actually stream live and have a reasonably decent looking stream. But when I when I record them, the pros and cons of it. When I record it ahead of time, I can talk and bullshit a lot better during the stream. But it's hard for me to be in the moment. Like that stream I did where oh, and it sounds like we did solve the riddle of who built that base. It was Rex Bear, and they are one of the ones that appears to be making a comeback on the server, which is kind of cool. But like for me to do that, it was just easier to do it on stream. Oh, that's okay, man. Don't worry about it. I actually get people that watch these afterwards. I would, and the thing is, it might be. I kind of made an announcement at the beginning, like, "Hey, look," because when I got on, it took like I think 20 minutes before StreamCord announced that I was on. And so if people are waiting for the notifications, they're going to be late. And I told them, I go, if you're one of these people that doesn't like to get into a stream late, because I'm that way. There's people I follow on YouTube. Well, if they go, rarely, if ever, do I catch them going live when I have time to sit down and watch them. And if I'm like, more than 5 minutes late to their broadcast, I'll just catch it later. And I told him, I go, if that's the way you are and you're not getting these notifications fast enough, I told him, follow me on Twitter. Basically, it's the same thing. It's AFKC 0071 on Twitter. Because I go, with rare exceptions, I usually announce, half hour ahead of time that I'm going live. So if anybody's following me on there, they will get the announcements a little bit faster there than what they're getting from like StreamCord. StreamCord's free. I can't bitch about it, but that was like the other day. You went on, and luckily I had my Twitch app open, but and it was like 20 minutes, half hour later when that thing was making an announcement that you were actually going live. That is starting to look nice. I mean, that's really starting to take shape. Yeah, I even got an attaboy from Pixel Pizza when he was on. He found out where I was and he came by and he's like, "Dude," he goes, "that's starting to look a little epic." And I'm like, "Yeah." I go, "Hopefully it'll get there." Thing is, I can actually do stuff, but I just have to be feeling good enough to do it because I have to think my way through it. I'm not. I'm actually going to put some stuff up. I'm going to be basically taking. I'm going to tweak them a little bit. Most of the guys that I'll be doing this with, they play in creative, so they don't have to light their shit up or and worry about it being a mob farm. But I'm going to take some stuff from like Andy is Yoda and some of the other ones I follow, and I'm going to build them like around some of my bases. It's stuff that I will not be using. I just want some eye candy in the distance, and I can't build like they do. So I'll try and give credit for it when I throw it up on YouTube to give them credit for it. But I am going to be changing it a bit anyways. And then I think I'm going to wait until the next server rolls out when we go to season 2. But I might modify the one I got because it just does not work sending them through the portals. But Silent Whisper just built a brand new gas farm, and it looks like it works pretty good. And I think I can make some minor modifications to mine and have something pretty close. I'm going to convert the other 31 that I need. And when we get to the next season, I'm definitely going to build his gas farm. And the other thing is, there were some pictures, and I don't think they were intended to be real. They were like somebody's vision of that. I think the place is called Angkor Wat. Um, and if I can get the ambition, I can find. I might actually try to reproduce it in season two. Somebody found it, and it's a city that dates back. I think they carbon dated elements of the city, and it dates back to like over 10,000 years ago. And they've recently found out that Angkor Wat is just a small part of a bigger city. That it's actually was about the size of London. And the one of my martial art instructors, he was actually a student under Bruce Lee. He trained under Bruce Lee. He actually ran. There's a little bit of dispute on this, and I actually go with what I believe to be true. Because as soon as and I'm not trying to badmouth anybody. I'm really not trying to badmouth me. I think this is accurately describing, uh, what is going on. There was a certain truth that was recognized while his widow ran the family estate. And then when the daughter became in charge of the Bruce Lee family estate, it seemed to me, my opinion, that they were trying to rewrite history. But the history that I grew up in the art learning it, Bruce Lee at one point had three schools open. One was in Seattle, Washington, and there were, I believe, two of them in California. And this guy ran the Chinatown School. It was the third one. It was the last one that was open. And, the way it was explained to me, Bruce Lee didn't like teaching. And so what he would do is he had these three guys, Taki Kimura, James Yim Lee, who was no relation to Bruce Lee. They just had the same last name. And then Dan Inosanto. Each one of these guys ran one of the three schools. And like the Seattle school was one that Bruce Lee opened while he was going to college. The one he opened with James Lee, I don't know when or why he opened that, but both of them, I believe, were open before he started doing Jeet Kune Do. And then the Chinatown School opened after he had met Dan Inosanto and had time to work with him. And then he opened that one. And the way it was explained to me is he told Dan, like, look, you be the Sifu here. You teach, and I'll be the Sigung, meaning the grandfather. Sifu roughly translates to father. Sigung roughly translates to grandfather. And he goes, I'll stop in and check it out once in a while and then sort of point you in the right direction, bring you new material, that kind of thing. And apparently before he died, Bruce Lee told him, like, hey, you're from the Philippines. You're from that region. Why don't you go and explore that and see if there's anything worthwhile there? And then let me know. And the way it was explained to me I go to seminars. I didn't hang out at his house. We weren't buddies. He didn't invite me over for beer and brats. I want to be clear on that. I went to seminars. And I went to his school a couple times for a week-long camp that anybody could go to. I mean, I never knew of anybody who got rejected from that thing, although I suppose it's possible. But I went a couple of years before my health got bad, and he was explaining that for these people that didn't think Bruce Lee embraced like this other stuff that he's doing now, he's like, my first C-Lot book was given to me by Bruce Lee. It's got his, one of those things where when you buy a book for somebody, you sometimes put a little inscription in there and sign it. Well, that's what Bruce Lee did. He still has it. And as he's explored this stuff, what he has found is, in his opinion, there is a lost empire that was in the Pacific region. And when I was finding that thing on Angkor Wat where they were talking about, it being the size of London, it being a bigger, a bigger, more evolved civilization than anybody, I would really love to run into him again and find out if he has looked into that And if he has, if he thinks that's this lost empire that he thinks was, oh, hang on. But I would really like to know if that's what he feels, because that would actually explain out. But he, as he's looked at these different cultures from like Indonesia to the Philippines to Thailand to God, it's near Thailand, but it's I think it's called Bondo boxing, and I can't remember I think the country has changed names anyways, but I can't remember the country that did that. But he's pretty sure, and he's explained it. I can't regurgitate it as well as he can, but he's actually done lot of research of the cultures,
Open chat.
and in his opinion, there was something greater there that was maybe like a root for the different civilizations there. It's almost 10 o'clock and I'm starting to lose steam here. So I think what I'll do is I might putz around. I'm going to probably take a nap. And then when I wake up tonight or tomorrow, I will try to get some more work done on this. I might actually try and figure out what I'm going to do with the bottom part of it. And then try and get some more work done. And if I can kind of get the teeth cut on where I want to go with it, then the next stream I can actually work on just replicate. I'll try and figure out what I want to do. I knew it was going to take me a while to get the beacons in and get that started up there, but I'll try and get some more of it done, and then I can actually just spend the stream building it. For anybody that's seeing this tonight, if you're able to lurk or watch, I will be streaming Minecraft Dungeons tomorrow after lunch, and I'm going to shoot a message. If I don't forget, I'm going to shoot a message to the gentleman that I ran into last week that kind of wants to play it, and let him know that if he can make it, he can join me there. And then peace out, everybody, and have a good night. Oh, hey, Biker, you got anybody good to raid? The beauty of it is now I can actually have like my web browser open, and I can have my Twitch client running. It it stresses it out a little bit when I'm actually using it, but I can actually, yeah, by me opening it, it dropped me down to like 20 frames per second, screwed up the voice a little bit, but I can actually go in here and do stuff. Yeah, I get a little bit of a drop in frame rate. When I was doing this the other day, testing it, it still didn't look bad. I think it did glitch my voice up a little bit. So I am kind of at, I think, the borderline of what I can get away with when I'm streaming. Yeah, here's the when I right now I'm going into Twitch. I'm going to go ahead and find where I can raid in here. But the only thing I need to get my path to affiliate all green is average of 3 viewers in 22.64 hour stream. And I've dropped from 2.3 to 2.1 from the last stream. So anybody out there, if you guys really want to help me out, even if you're just going to lurk, if you can get in here and watch while I'm streaming, that's what I really need right now. That's what I really need to help out right now. Okay, I got a button here that's supposed to allow me to rate a channel. Uh, there's nobody really, the people I'm following, there's nobody really low. Biker, you got anybody low in followers that I can stream? Okay, why wasn't it giving me Ironhawk? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try and raid Ironhawk. Hey, this one looks like it's gonna work. This computer is turning out to be like 110% better, 200%, 300% better than what I was streaming on last week. Okay, we're rating now. Three, two, one. Let's rate them. Autocorrect did me wrong.